to the Bat Buffalo main event. I'm Brad Ryder, joined this week by Jeremy White. Bob Gahn is losing his kids' college fund in Vegas, even as we speak. Coming up, we'll be joined by Madai basketball coach Mike McDonald. We'll talk about the NCAA tournament and some events that he's got coming up. But first, we'll start off talking about the Buffalo Sabres. The push for the playoffs is on the way, or underway, I should say. Jeremy, what is the one thing that is most working against Buffalo in their attempt to get into the first round of the playoffs?
Tough question. I would say themselves, right? I mean, the biggest thing we think about this team is that they're consistently inconsistent, and you never know if you're going to get the A effort, the B effort, who's going to show up on any given night. But with the recent mixing of lines, I got to say I like how things have gone. They had a good weekend, and what's working against them? The NHL's format, the three-point systems. I don't know who to root for on a given night. I'm watching a game, I see Boston takes the lead against Philadelphia, and I think, awesome, that's great. And then they tie it, and then it's bad. And I don't know what to do. I'm rooting for somebody to win by 10.
The thing that scares me a little bit is that at some point, Ryan Miller's going to run out of gas. And I think we've seen at times this year that sort of threaten to happen. Lindy Ruff made a conscious decision a long time ago that he was going to ride this guy. And now it's at a point where you can't turn back on it. He's looked for a while like a guy who kind of needs a nap. I've liked what I've seen of him lately, but he gets into these stretches and these funks where he just looks burnt out, and there's really no room to sit him down when you're pushing for every possible point. There's never a day when you think, I think Jocelyn Thibault gives me the best chance of getting 2 points tonight.
And the good news is the schedule does lighten up. They had gone back-to-back and back-to-back and 3 and 4, and now we have a couple days without a game, and there's another stretch a little later in the season as well, a couple days without a game. So, I mean, there are no off days for Ryan Miller. People ask me, well, he gets days off in between games. Like, no, they practice and he skates. And every time there's an optional that I've known, he's there. So he likes the work. He wants to be a guy that can handle that workload, and it's something that it seems like it is catching up with him.
It's mental more than physical as far as the workload, at least in my eyes. And I think Miller tries to fight through it by saying, no, I don't mind. I work extra. It's an optional skate. I'm going to show up. That's the kind of thing you see. You mentioned the three-point games in the NHL, and the more we watch hockey down the stretch, the more it becomes an issue. You think the NHL is ever going to look at the possibility of making every game a three-point game? Because it would make sense.
Yeah, it would make a lot of sense. And with complete respect to the fact that the Sabres are tied for the league lead in loser points. They have 11. So they've got a lot of these bogus points. It's still terrible. It's terrible for the sport. When I don't know who to root for, when I just don't want a game to go to overtime, and never mind, if you're Boston and Philadelphia, I mean, I'm not going to suggest that they're doing something behind the scenes. But but seriously, why wouldn't they? Hey, want to go to overtime? Let's just we both need the points. Let's be honest. We both need the points. Let's both go to overtime and shoot out from there. Who knows? Best man wins. It's just, it doesn't make sense. Mathematically, it doesn't make sense. And the one thing that's supposed to make sense, math. It always works, except if you're the NHL.
And I know that over the last few years, or the last 2 seasons, I should say, watching the Sabres and watching other teams try to catch up to them, I always kind of laugh at the teams that have piled up the loser points, that you don't really belong here. You don't really have 88 points. You really, you've won fewer games than you've lost. But it adds up. This year it happens to be working in the Sabres' favor. And also, don't forget, it's not as though if they applied this scoring system at the end of the season, said, oh, by the way, every time you lost in overtime, we're going to give you a point for that, it would be a much different story. Coaches coach knowing the system, so it impacts the way the game is played, but it just makes perfect sense that every game that's played in the league should be worth the same amount of points. So 2 points for, 3 points for a regulation win, and then 2 and 1, split them up later on. It's so logical.
It makes too much sense.
You just need one person within the NHL to say, I've got common sense. Will you listen to me, please? And I don't know how far that goes. I don't know how well it works. Moving to golf. Tiger Woods now 5 for 5 in tournaments this year. We would be absolutely blown away if it's anybody but Tiger Woods. How far does Tiger Woods have to go to command the type of attention that a winning streak in golf tournaments really deserves?
Yeah, he's ridiculous. He won at Bay Hill again, which might as well be his course. At this point, the PGA should consider allowing you and I to go play Bay Hill when Tiger's going to be there, because it doesn't matter who plays, he's going to win. What does he have to do? Probably the Grand Slam. I mean, the next thing he can do is the Grand Slam. He has the Tiger Slam, which is 4 consecutive majors, but he hasn't done it 1 calendar year, and that'll be the big deal. To get it to the Masters, which he's going to win. He wins the Masters every year. A U.S. Open course that would suit him would be good. And, once you get to the British Open and the PGA Championship, then you're really talking. But I think by his own standards, he's raised his own bar so high. I'm not impressed until I see 3 out of the 4 majors and going for the 4th.
How do you approach a tournament if you're anyone else when you know that Tiger, not only is he Tiger Woods, but he's Tiger who's hot.
You hope he gets sick. You hope he pulls something. You hope that there's a family, I don't know, like a birthday party and he can't come for whatever reason. You hope he doesn't show up.
Hope his Buick breaks down.
You hope his Buick breaks down. You decide to, I don't know, just be happy with the giant paycheck they're going to give you for finishing in 38th place.
Yeah. And they've got to also be happy that Tiger is driving up all of the money that all of them are making. So I guess it's good for the sport, for sure. But, I mean, I think I want to see competition. I've gone back and forth on Tiger Woods for years because I enjoy watching him get pushed. I also enjoy watching him just obliterate the field.
Why are ratings high when he wins by 12 strokes? That's not exciting. That's not exciting television. Yet it still gets the ratings. So I don't understand it. I mean, Bay Hill was close. I get that. Tiger's in the lead. Tiger's near the front. At the end, fine, I'll watch. But up by 12, why the ratings? Why? I don't know. I guess dominance is one thing, but boring dominance is another.
Coming up, we'll be joined by Mike McDonald, head basketball coach at Medaille. We'll talk NCAA tournament with him. And in just a moment, your emails. You can go to our website. It's buffalomainevent.com. Send us an email. The Shadow Lounge email segment is coming up in just a moment. I'm Brad Ryder along with Jeremy White this week on the Buffalo Main Event.
Short-term memory loss is something we all joke about. I forgot where I put my keys. I forgot what I wanted when I walked into the room. Those are common occurrences that happen to absolutely every person. And there's places out there that can help assess whether or not your loved one is really in the earlier stages of having a true memory impairment problem, or if it's just the routine forgetfulness that comes with day-to-day life. Bristol Village offers an exclusive memory care program, so call for help early.
Bristol Home in Bristol Village. Assisted living where family matters.